It's a beautiful Wednesday, October 1st, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and there are so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's number one casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games with a huge selection of table games, including blackjack match, roulette, and Teddy's favorite, craps. No matter what your game, Riverwind has it in spades and hearts. And to learn more about their gaming promotions and entertainment options, all you got to do is visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, always a good time, and little Texas tune-up with the Kent State Golden Flashes. Ted, let's go.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing. This football game is exactly what we need right now. I know that after playing Michigan at home and Auburn at home, this doesn't have the same feeling, but considering that we're trying to get some guys back in the lineup, we got a quarterback that's had a surgery, we got a backup we need to work in. This game is placed perfectly on the schedule.
Yeah, if you're an OU fan and you're going, do I really need to go to this one? You're getting Michael Hawkins at quarterback. You're getting throwback jerseys, which are just, those jerseys are, there's no other way to say it. Those are sexy jerseys.
Yep.
And honoring the 1985 national championship team. I mean, come on, what else could you ask for?
First look at Giovanni Gibson. I mean, there's plenty of stuff to get into and to watch out there. We got to get the run game going. Jaden Ott, does he make an appearance? We got storylines all over the place.
So many questions. Be there, be loud. Let's go. Now, before we jump into what we're watching for, and before we hear from, hey, what are we, 3 of 5 now for head coaches for the opponent? We've got Mark Carney on this episode. Right. It's pretty good.
Not bad.
60% is pretty good. But a reminder, the Red River Reunion at Texas Live on October 10th. We are on at 11 a.m. The whole thing is 11 to 2. We are the opening act for two guys named Mac Brown and Barry Switzer. Be there. Please get there early for when we're doing it so it's not like empty when we start. You know what I mean? That'd be really embarrassing, Ted.
It's like, we're the unknown band that's opening for you too, Like we're just trying to get the crowd going a little bit.
That's how it feels. But please come early and be there when we start at 11 a.m. Texas Live, October 10th, 11 a.m. Please come so we are not embarrassed. Let's jump into the Kent State matchup. Ted, let's start with OU's defense against Kent State's offense. What are you watching for?
Yeah, their offense is, and here's the thing. We all know what this football game is. It's all about how we play and how we manage ourselves. We've got the better talent. Kent State is a battered program coming in, having to play a bunch of the big boys. They've given up a ton of yards and a ton of points when they've played the likes of Florida State and Tech. And so we know what this is. But they do have some nice players on offense, and I like what they do as far as some of their scheme stuff. I think that whenever you look at their run game, they have all the standard stuff, inside zone, some of the duo stuff, split zone. But they also do some outside zone, either by just kind of a traditional hand it to the running back or out of, kind of the hand sweep outside zone look. They'll do some down and around over on the edges, tight end, tackle, guard down, and they'll pull the center around and wipe it or C block it, however you want to call that. They'll do it down, guard around on the front side just to try and attack the perimeter a little bit. I think that they'll try some of that against us. It's going to be very difficult for them to run on the interior. They are not very big, not very powerful on the offensive line. if they have a chance to generate any offense, I think that they're going to try and get away from our defensive line to do it. Um, and they'll change things up. They ran a reverse against Buffalo that looked pretty good. They'll do some zone read stuff. I think the Shields is actually pretty athletic at quarterback. He runs pretty well. He's not like what you would consider a dangerous runner, but he'll pull it down in the passing game. They'll run some like legit zone read on the outside with him.
I would say, let me know if you disagree, but it kind of similar to what we saw from Evan Simon from Temple,
Yeah,
from an
yeah, exactly.
athleticism. Like, hey,
Yep.
he's got enough athleticism to pick up some small chunks in the run game and keep you honest.
Yep. And same thing if you want to go back, what was it, Rittenhouse in that we played early. That was pretty fast at quarterback. That could do some stuff. So he's not going to turn your lights out, but athletic enough to do some damage. Um, for the run game, that's kind of how I see it. It's pretty traditional stuff. I didn't see anything that is out of the ordinary that you really have to have your antenna up for. But I do think they're going to try to attack the perimeter on us. They'll do some jet sweep stuff, which I think may be a decent piece for them. I think they're going to try and attack the perimeter in the run.
Yeah. I would be, yeah, shock's the right word. Shocked if they can run it efficiently in between the tackles against our defense.
Yeah.
No one's been able to do it. I can't imagine Kent State's the first team that's going to be able to do it. So yeah, I completely agree with you. And they they know they can't. So I would expect for the run game for them to be majority attack the edges outside concepts.
Yep. That's how I see it. And I think there's going to be, as I go to the pass game, I think there's going to be kind of the same type of mentality in the pass game. Big screen team. They like the running back screens, and they'll set them up out of a bunch of different formations and run it to several different guys. The Garcia running back, number 5, kind of a do it all type of back. He's not great in the open field. He's not great between the tackles, but he's a solid player. They like him in the screen game. I do think they're going to try and get away. It's going to be hard for them to protect for long durations of time. So I think they're going to try and get the ball out quick, tunnel screens to the outside as well, even though I think we've been good at defending those. I do think that they're going to try and just find quick, easy completions for their quarterback because the drop back game is going to be very difficult. Their tight ends and running backs are not great in protection. You match that with an offensive line that's going to be at a big disadvantage. They're in the passing game. They're going to try and find a way to generate quick, get the ball out, passing game to where they can try and compete. They're going to tag some RPO on some of their zone stuff, and they'll bubble it on the outside in the RPO. They'll run some of the spear stuff, but you will get some RPO. Their two go-to guys to me in the passing game, Deshaun Martin, number 1. I think he's their best playmaker at wide receiver. Pretty good after the catch. Looks like he's got some good speed. Tracks the ball well. He can make some nice plays on you if you're not careful. And then 21, Cade Wolford, he's their leading receiver. He's listed as a running back. He wears 21. There's some unique number situations going on with the skill position guys. A lot of 20s at wide receiver. They have an 80s number listed as a running back. It's squirrely, but Cade Wolford is in the passing. He reminds me of kind of almost like how we use Drake Stoops. I think Deshaun Martin is their playmaker, and I think Wolford is their go-to guy, third downs, when they create like a specific route scheme for a coverage where maybe he's double moving a linebacker on the inside or I think they try to highlight him on some critical third down stuff, but the drop back game is going to be hard for him. I do think they're going to take some shots to Deshaun Martin on just one-on-one opportunities, try to throw it up where they don't have to protect for a long time, where they can try and create an explosive with a double move on the outside or just a one-on-one ball if they got a step. That's kind of how I see it. I I don't think that Kent State is going to show up and present some very difficult game plan that they've poured a ton of time and effort into. My feeling is the locker room and the coaching staff are probably tired of these games and are probably going to try and get through it without taking any injuries, get out of here and start conference play, because non-conference has been a beatdown.
Yeah, they played Texas Tech, Florida State, and now Oklahoma. And I think they were really encouraged by how they played against Buffalo. Like, they were leading pretty much that entire game and ended up giving up the lead and losing in the fourth quarter.
That's the game that I've studied the most, because
that like they're going to run their best stuff in that game because it's a conference game. It's a MAC game.
Right. And it's very hard to study a game tape of an opponent that is vastly outmatched on one side of the ball. It's, or both sides of the ball, but whenever you're studying it, it's a lot harder to figure out exactly, like, let's see what they really want to go to in critical situations when they got a chance to win the game.
The only notes I really have for their offense is I think they're going to throw several stutter goes to Deshaun Martin.
Mm-hmm.
That was an issue against Auburn. Now, Deshaun Martin is not Cam Coleman, but they're going to test our corners and see if we've corrected some of the technique mistakes that got us in trouble in that Auburn game.
And it's typically a low risk, high reward type of play. So I expect to see some of those too.
I would expect a lot of screens early to try to slow down our defensive line when it comes to the pass rush. And then trick plays. They ran like a fake QB sweep, and then DeShields stopped and threw it down the field to Deshaun Martin for a touchdown against Florida State. I would expect something, whether it's, reverse pass, double reverse pass, something like that, double pass, throwing it out to a receiver and having him throwing it. So you have to have your antennas up for some type of trickeration.
Yep. Yeah, and you're either going to get it early, I think, or they're going to present something a little different to get you off your game a little bit, get you thinking, and then come back to it with some type of trickeration off of it. So, you just got to keep your antennas up for stuff like that. It's hard to prepare for everything in the book. You just got to kind of trust your rules, communicate, identify formations properly.
This OU defense is number one in a lot of statistical categories right now in college football. You have to imagine that they want to keep it that way, and they want to put together a very, very strong performance against a team that they're just much, much better than.
Totally agree. And, I think it should be a fun game. I expect the first unit to play really well. And I think we're going to get down the roster a little bit and see some of the younger guys and get deeper into the rotations and see what we got. Get some of those guys out on the field, some game time reps.
I'm with you. Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right, let's talk about OU's offense versus Kent State's defense. But first, download the Loves app from Love's Travel Stops, your guide to savings on the road. Fill up for less with the discount on fuel. 10 cents off on every gallon of gas and 25 cents off on every gallon of auto diesel. And don't forget, in the store, you can unlock mobile deals on the Loves app to save on snacks, drinks, and select meals at Love's restaurants. Plus, you can plan your pit stops for your next road trip with the map and route planner. All from Love's, the heart of the highway.
It's football time in Oklahoma, and you need beef built like our guys on the field, premium, powerful, and ready to perform. That's Didier Ranch. They're a family ranch right here in Oklahoma, raising and shipping their own beef nationwide. Steak burgers, premium ground beef, and they hand deliver next day to the Oklahoma City metro and surrounding areas. Norman, Moore, Edmond, Yukon, right from their ranch to your doorstep, faster than the Sooner Schooner after a touchdown drive. Premium beef delivered. Visit DidierRanch.com and taste the luxury of tradition.
And we are brought to you by Simple Modern, the Oklahoma-owned company and proud official drinkware partner of the OU Sooners. Football in Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium is rocking all October. Big plays, packed stands, and the exclusive limited edition Simple Modern drinkware drops at each home game. Get yours before everyone else grabs them. Both October home games bring a brand new design only available at that matchup and only while supplies last. I'm telling you, it's the perfect way to stay hydrated while cheering on the Sooners. And with 10% of all profits going to charity, many right here in Oklahoma, every sip supports Oklahomans on and off the field. Simple Modern, good everywhere. All right, things to watch for from OU's offense versus Kent State's defense. First of all, Kent State's defense, a multiple group, 4 down front, but they will jump into the 4 down odd spacing. They do some really interesting things with their linebacker alignments, especially in their odd spacing stuff, but nothing too crazy. You know, hey, this giant void in the defense, someone is going to come and fill that void. You have to know that if you're an offensive lineman or a tight end, you're talking about the run game. My favorite players, I think, the strength of their defense is their linebacker core. Number 0, Mason Woods. He's the best player they got on defense. I think number 8, Nyland Brown, is the best looking player they have on defense. You're going to see him and go, okay, yeah, that guy looks the part. The same for number 17, Stretch Carroll, there at the defensive end position. My favorite interior guy for them is 95, Jelani Davis. He's a flash player. He's not as consistent as you want a guy to be in the interior, but he does some things where you're like, oh, he just swam that guy in the run game. That's disruptive. Oh, he just randomly busts out a spin move as a pass rusher. That's disruptive. It's kind of fun to watch, honestly. But let's get to some run game thoughts. It's really about OU in this one. Kent State is really undersized along the defensive line, especially at defensive tackle. They're in the 275 to 285-pound range. I don't care if it's zone schemes or gap schemes. Ted, all I want to see is double teams moving guys off the football.
Yeah.
Moving guys at the point of attack. I've talked about how unrealistic it is for people to expect us to move guys like 5 yards off the ball. But this is a group from Kent State that you should be able to move 2-3 yards off the ball and create some significant movement. This is not an SEC defensive line. So the number one thing I'm going to be watching for from OU's offense is defensive linemen from Kent State going backwards, getting moved off the ball. And I really hope I see that, because if I don't, I think on Sunday I'm going to come on here and freak out, man.
Do you expect to see any like technical or big changes to kind of the run game philosophy that we've seen up to this point?
I think our best stuff is when we spread teams out and create light boxes. That's been our best stuff. Our best play, in my opinion. We've had some good GY counters where you go, hey, there's the crease. Let's hit it. Come on. But really the best stuff has been kind of the zone stuff with a wider track from the offensive line.
Yeah.
Honestly, our best run play has been speed sweep.
Yeah.
Jet sweep, whatever you want to call it. That's been our best play.
Yep.
So build on that, like attack the edges of the defense. And when you look ahead, you start thinking about Texas defensive line, you're not going to move Texas defensive line much, if any, off the ball. Is this offensive line all of a sudden going to become a really, really good run blocking group after what we've seen through the first 4 games? That's hard to imagine, right?
Right.
So you've had the bye week. You've had all this time to look at it and go, okay, what do we do well? What sets us up for success? And I think it's the wide zone stuff, build QB run game off that, and then have your counter concepts as a changeup. And one counter observation for this game, that's one of our bread and butter plays, and they typically box, or I think you call it hammer counter, right?
Yeah.
Where the edge guy, the in man on the line of scrimmage, that the first puller on counter is going to kick out. He keeps that outside shoulder free, which should force that second puller to insert inside of the kick out pull. We've struggled with some of the reads in some of those situations and inserting properly at tight end. And I think we've in particularly struggled with teams spilling it, meaning that at that edge defender coming underneath the kick out puller and spilling it to players outside. I wonder if they're going to box it or spill it, because it's on tape that we've struggled when teams have spilt it. So I'm going to be watching for that. That's a very in the weeds thing that I may be the only person in the stadium looking for that. But I'm interested in how they play it, and I want to see our tight ends, or if we're running GT counter, our tackles. I want to see those guys insert the proper place as the second puller on counter. That is something that's very, very easy and needs to be better than what it's been so far this season.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it feels like when we get the timing better with our pullers and that whole situation, that we've had some more success there. There's been more opportunity, but the spill, or coming in a wrong arm, it does kind of take the timing out of it. It's been difficult to read those. So that could be something that we get some nice work on.
I'll be watching for how we use Hawkins in the run game. I think everyone will be watching for that. Up to this point, we've seen John Mateer carry it a lot in gap schemes concepts, where it's a read run concept where there is a speed sweep or outside element that is attacking the edge of the defense. And then there's also a gap scheme option with pullers where if Mateer likes the read, if he gets a keep read, he's running a counter concept. I think it makes a lot of sense to flip that with Michael Hawkins and have him be the option that threatens the perimeter of the defense, and have the running back option be the gap scheme option. Now, I think Hawkins can run counter. Like, I think he can run QB counter because he's added good weight, but let's utilize his strengths. And the guy can really, really run out in space. So get him out in space if he gets a keep read. So that's something that I'll definitely be watching for, especially I think you can get to some simple zone read stuff with Mike Hawkins and just make it difficult on a defense, make it difficult on those edge players for Kent State. And QB draw makes a ton of sense. We've been at our best offensively, spreading teams out and throwing the football, whether that's 4 wide receivers and a running back in the backfield, or you're going 5 wide and you're in empty. And if you can create some light boxes, Mike Hawkins is a weapon in QB draw.
Yeah.
And the numbers should be good. You could have 5 offensive linemen for 5 defenders, or 5 offensive linemen and a running back inserting on a backer, and you're 6 for 6, and go make something happen. I mean, it's one of the simplest plays in football. It's not complicated. So I'd like to see them get to some of that. 12 personnel. Caden Helms was out of the cast against Auburn in warmups. Now, we didn't see him in the game, but it feels like this team continues to search for who the second tight end is. Could we see some Caden Helms in this game? And one thing this team desperately needs is a point of attack blocker at the tight end position. Mm-hmm. Could Caden Helms be that guy? Could that start with this game? We'll see, but it's something I'll be watching, because Kent State typically plays bare to 12 personnel. So some of these tight ends are going to be put in situations where they're at the inflection point in some of these gap schemes, and you got to block guys. So
Yeah, and Caden Helms, I think he offers some good length at the point of attack that maybe you don't get with some of the other guys. He's athletic. He can do quite a bit. And I frankly was really pleased with how he looked before he's had to battle so many injuries. I thought he was doing some good things before he had the hand go down, and he tried to stay at it with that, but it's hard to do with with the broken hand. So yeah, I hope we get to see him out there because I think he can build into a perhaps another option there. So be
That
good to
would
see.
it's that second tight end position is something that this team needs to become. It just need that spot to be better than what
Yeah,
it's been.
I agree.
Maybe it's Helms. We'll see. All right, on to some pass game thoughts. Clearly, the focus will be on how Hawkins looks as a passer, but just can't wait to see Giovanni Gibson. Ted, this when you and I went out to spring practice, it was a debate between John Mateer and Giovanni Gibson about who looked like the best player on the football team.
Yeah, they did. If we get that version, I mean, my fingers are crossed because.
I'm with you.
And what type of workload do you think he gets?
I would love if he's good to go, run him out with the first group.
Yeah,
Let's
and Venable said that he and Eli Bowen have been practicing for a couple of weeks now. Does that mean they've been doing individual drill? Does that mean they've dropped them in to some different drills here and there? I'm sure they did a handful of good on good during the bye week, or are they getting those type of reps where you're not live, but you know, pretty hot tempo, good on good. I don't know how much of that they've gotten, but I'd like to see a pretty good workload from both those guys.
I'm with you, but can't wait to watch Giovanni Gibson. Mike Hawkins should have a lot of time in the pocket in this game. I will be very, very surprised if he doesn't. And if he can sit there in the pocket, it is just proven there will be guys running open. Kent State really struggles in zone coverage. Ted, I'll give the guys credit. They stay in their zones, but they do not relate to the players on the field. It's kind of crazy to watch. It's like like electric fences for dogs,
Yeah.
where it's like you can't leave this area. That's what it looks like with some of their corner and safety play. You're just like, dude, there's no one else there. The guy's right there. Just go cover him. What are you doing?
The old
But
magnet football where the guys just kind of buzz in the same spot.
that's what it looks like. So I think there should be some big, big plays in the passing game in this one with what I've seen from Kent State's defense so far. I would like to see us move the pocket a little bit because I think Mike Hawkins throws really well on the run.
Yeah.
Whether that's sprint pass, boot, get him out on the edges of the defense, read some route concepts, deep to short. And if he doesn't like any of it, he can always take off and run and get some positive yardage. So I thought he was good in those situations a year ago, in those sprint pass, those boot situations. And I think that that's something that Ben Arbuckle can try to build off of. You have to run the corresponding run plays, though, to set up boot. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You got to run some wide zone action to set up the boot and make it effective. So those things are tied together. So we'll see what that looks like. This is a very specific thing, but against Auburn, we saw Satania, who is great at that deep over route, that deep crosser. We saw him run one where he acted like he was going to run that deep crosser, little deception, if you will, and shut it down and ran a return route back the other way. I would love to see us continue to build on the threat of those deep over routes, those deep crossers. Texas Tech had one where it was their guy. He was acting like he was running one of those crossers, and then he takes it vertical, and they throw it for a touchdown. I would like to see us build off the threat of those crossers in our passing game because it's something we do really well, and it would be a great way to keep secondaries off balance if you had some change ups to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I like that. And
We'll have that one on tomorrow's In the Weeds for the Kent State preview in the weeds. I'll put that play on there.
yeah, no, I like that. And there's the other thing to think about is where this game is located after a bye week, and the staff has had a chance to go in and, as Venables put it, audit what they've done up to this point and really see, what some of their tendencies are. This is a tendency breaker game. You're gonna It wouldn't shock me if you see some random stuff out of some random formations just to kind of break up what they've done up to this point, because we've had to really show our hand, with the non-conference and then playing Auburn. So yeah, I'm with you. Take some of the things that you have typically done and add some little wrinkles to them.
Kent State did play some three safety defense in obvious passing situations against Buffalo. Going back to what you said about what you saw from them, like I studied that game the most. I hope they throw some of that at Hawkins to where he has to sit, read it out, throw the ball in some smaller windows and zone coverage. Like I want to see how he looks in those situations. And then the last thing I have for the pass game is that man can launch a deep ball. Let him launch a couple.
Yes, you can.
Max protection, 2-3 man route. Launch that thing. Let's see how it goes.
Yep, I agree. And I think that I like our wide receivers, and they've been good in some competitive balls. If Giovanni Gibson's out there, I think watching him through the spring, I think that's his specialty, 50-50 balls, or, where it feels like he's got pretty good coverage on him. He still finds a way to go get the football, take some chances, throw it up, let some guys go make some plays.
Some pass pro thoughts, real quick. Kent State shouldn't touch Mike Hawkins. Don't want him to get hit once. That needs to be the goal for the offensive line in this game. Don't let him get touched when we decide that we're dropping back and throwing it. I'll be very disappointed if he's under pressure at all. And the offensive line has been very, very good in pass protection. So I want to see that continue. Hawkins, he needs to weaponize the clap. That's the best way to put it. We've seen Mateer use that to our advantage. You want to continue to have that be a strength and put those things on film. You want to get a couple free plays in this game. So use the snap count to your advantage. And then really in the third and long, second and long, the obvious passing situation stuff, Kent State is a show 5 up, show 6 up, show maybe even 7 up type of team. Now they will bring them all, or they will only bring 4 and they'll drop everyone else out. So you just have to have good communication between the offensive line, the backs, and the tight ends. And the best thing that they've shown so far is a little double mug look with both backers in the A gaps. You got 6 up, so you got your 4 defensive linemen, you got your 2 backers in the A gaps, and they've done a nice job of going and picking the offensive guards and ricocheting and going and pressuring the quarterback. If we give up a pressure on that, I'm going to lose my mind. Set at guard in that look, set at guard to protect yourself. You have to get a little more vertical. You got to get a little more off the ball. You got to drag your inside hand and protect yourself from getting picked. Don't be stupid. It shouldn't be an issue. They should be able to pick that stuff up easily.
Don't be stupid. Always the best coaching point.
Yes.
Start
Have
right
some
there.
awareness, guys.
Speaking to that, what do you expect the offensive line rotation to look like? Do you think Babecci gets a week off and Fauger gets a bunch of time?
I would love to see a lot of Ryan Fauger in this game, but dude, you only get 12. Like, I'm not sitting out a game if I can play. Like, that's just how I was. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Like Jake Michael. What's our other option at center? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
That's
I guess we'll see in this game at some point.
with how bad Fasusi looked against Auburn, I think I'd be surprised to see him in this game because he could barely move against Auburn.
Yeah.
So that's really the only guy I look at it and go, okay, I'm probably good with not seeing any of Michael Fasusi in this one. Get him ready to go for next week.
Yeah.
But the other guys, but it's the offensive line way, man. You play.
Yep.
If you can play, you play. That's the life of an offensive lineman.
Yeah. Well, I think playing helps you get better quicker too. There's something about getting out there and playing on it and moving around that helps the recovery as long as you don't re-injure it, get rolled up, which can happen at any moment. But I'm with you.
High ankles, you have to embrace the misery that's going to be the rest of the season for you. You're not going to be healthy the rest of the year with
No,
a high ankle early in the season. It's just
it's
not going to
be
happen, man. So get used to it. Learn to deal with it.
Yep.
All right, let's get to call your shot. We asked you guys the number one thing that y'all will be watching for in OU Kent State. This first one comes from Chandler Cotner, who says, will Jay not be a factor for OU this season? It seems like this bye week would have been a great opportunity for him to prove himself to the coaches.
That's one of the big storylines going into this game. I I think this is like kind of the last opportunity. If we go through this game and you get your typical rotation early with Blaylock and Barnes, and then if we get a big lead, you start to see some other guys come in, and if they've been saying Tatum's getting close, and maybe he's ready to go. If you start to see a bunch of Xavier Robinson and Tatum, and you don't see Ott, I think it's fair that you could probably close the book on that whole situation. But if there's an opportunity for him to get back in, make some plays, and prove that he's worth working back into the rotation, that this would be that opportunity.
Yeah, that's how it feels. I'm to the point where if he's out there, okay.
Yeah.
We bring this up a lot. College football coaches are not in the business of not playing the best players. They're not in the business of not playing players that they believe give them the best chance to win games.
No doubt.
So if he's out there, he's out there. If he's not, he's not. Do I think his skill set would fit some of the stuff that I would like to see them do when it comes to spreading teams out and running it into light boxes and spreading teams out and throwing it to the back? Like, yes, I think his skill set would fit it very well. But if he's not earning it in practice, it is what it is, man. That's where I'm at with it.
That's right. Yeah. I don't know. I still have barely seen him do anything. That includes all the practices I've gone to and the game. So I still want to get a feel for what he looks like in a game where he can get some extended time to settle into a game plan and what's happening out on the field.
It would be nice if he could give us some quality snaps, especially when you consider Blaylock's shoulder situation. Like it would be nice.
Yeah, for sure.
I know everyone wants to bring up the NIL money, and that's like, I don't care. When you're out on the field, I want to see max effort. That's it. Go out and play hard.
Go play hard.
Go play hard. To get your opportunity, go play hard. This other one comes from Stone Cold Sooner. He says, turnovers, turnovers, turnovers. Clean and dominant offensive playing and force some dang turnovers on D. This game should be 50-0 at half. Anything short of complete and utter dominance would be a letdown. Jet New and bench guys should be playing at the beginning of the third. Just so you know, Stone Cold Sooner, Whit Neubauer is the backup.
Yeah.
So we're going to see Neubauer before New.
Which I actually would like to see that. I've seen some good stuff from him. He's like a total change-up quarterback. Mateer and Hawkins' style is pretty similar, but Neubauer is like a throwback, gigantic pocket passer.
Spread him out and let him rip it, dude.
Let him rip it.
That's what I want to see from Neubauer. But yes, it should be it should be a very lopsided game. And it would be nice because, in this weird way, even though OU's defense has been arguably the best defense in the country, there's this black cloud of no forced turnovers, like just lingering over the group.
It's crazy. I mean, everyone knows they're the only team in Division One that hasn't forced a turnover. It's incredibly usually those type of defensive rankings come along with a bunch of turnovers, right? Ending drives, getting the ball back for your quarterback. If you force them in the red zone, helps your red zone defense. We haven't had the benefit of any of those statistically on defense, and they're still ranked as high as they are. It's crazy, but I know they've been harping on it. Sometimes it's just, it's hard to really practice on it and focus on it. But when you get opportunities, you have to make them. We've had opportunities. It's not like they haven't presented themselves. So as soon as they can break the seal on the turnovers, I think they'll start coming.
I I hope the seal gets broken on Saturday. All right, let's talk to Kent State head coach Mark Carney. But first,
Schwab Meat has been smoking the highest quality meats, hot dogs, and sausages in OKC since 1912. Go to schwabmeat.com to order any of Schwab's outstanding products and use promo code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab dogs are iconic. I like to keep it simple. Just a bun, dog, mustard, ketchup. Also, the jalapeno cheddar smoked sausage is ridiculous. schwabmeat.com, code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab Meat, the official hot dog of game days.
with ice cold beers, great food, and TVs all around, Pub W is the perfect spot to catch OU football and NFL Sundays. Pub W has been voted best happy hour 3 years in a row and serves brunch Saturday and Sunday mornings until 2 p.m. You can enjoy classics like chicken and waffles and their steak breakfast burrito, as well as unique dishes like the Big Country Benedict. Plus, brunch Marys, mimosas, and espresso martinis. Visit pubdub.com to find a location near you. Pub W, good food, good drinks, good people.
Insurica's launched a new digital agency introducing Insurica Direct. Whether you're in Oklahoma or anywhere across the U.S., they've got you covered. From small business insurance and health insurance for your employees to insurance for individuals like home, auto, and even Medicare supplements. Insurica Direct's got it all. Start your journey today at insuricadirect.com. Remember, at Insurica, we specialize in you.
It is our pleasure to be joined by the interim head coach and offensive coordinator for the Kent State Golden Flashes. Mark Carney is in the house. Coach, how we doing?
I'm great, guys. Thanks for having me on. What an opportunity.
Well, speaking of opportunity, it's you guys wanted to line up a playoff run through the early part of the season, it looks like. You guys have had your hands full.
Yeah. No, that's part of being a Group of Five program, right? Is we've got 19 great sports here at Kent State, and that costs money to run an athletic department at the Division I level, and our opportunity is unique in that we get to be the front porch and represent this university, on a national stage against, three powerhouse programs, that are all in playoff contention this year. And, what an exciting opportunity for our guys. We recruit a lot of portal guys, high school guys that, these are the type of schools that, we had high hopes or dreams of aspirations of playing it when we were younger, and the recruiting game shakes out however it does, and this is our opportunity to go into those stadiums and put our best foot forward.
Coach, we don't have to get into all the details, but you found yourself as the interim head coach back in the spring. What has that been like for you, going from the OC to interim head coach, and what has it been like having all of the new responsibilities that a head coach has now?
Yeah, it's a different job, that's for sure. You start out as a young coach, and you probably have yourself way too over-evaluated, and think you can do a lot more than you're actually capable of earlier in your career. But I was fortunate. I had a great gentleman to learn from. Dave Clausen was my head football coach when I was a player, was also my quarterback's coach and offensive coordinator. So there was not a meeting that did not involve him during my last 3 years of college. Got to jump in on his staff and learn a bunch and grow from the FCS to the FBS level. And, I've been uniquely positioned for this opportunity. I'm the oldest of like 50-something cousins, large Irish Catholic family on the west side of Cleveland. And we multiply like rabbits a little bit over here. And, whether it was as a quarterback at Fordham, going through 9/11 when I was a senior player there and the adversity of that. And, adversity is inevitable in life, and it's how you deal with, or how you perceive these obstacles. Do you see them as obstacles, or are they opportunities? And that's kind of the attitude I've tried to bring here. And, I've had great buy-in from the locker room and a group that was hungry for a change in narrative.
Well, it's been a tough run. It's difficult schedule. Looks like an SEC type of schedule. What have you learned from your football team through the first 4 weeks?
Yeah, I think, game one, got a chance to win a game, right, which hadn't been done in 714 days here. So that was important to get that one. It was ugly, but we found a way to get it done. And, coming off of an 0-12 campaign in 2024 and 1-11 the year prior to that, it was a group that was hungry for success on the field. And to be able to experience that and share that with these guys is pretty special. Then you go on the road to Texas Tech, and that's a really, really good football team that spent a good bit of money this offseason to put their best selves forward and get your butt kicked a little bit there. But in the second half of that game, I thought we focused on ourselves and made improvements that carried over into the next week as we started MAC play against Buffalo. And we hadn't been competitive in conference here in a couple of years. And what that game showed us was, yes, we belong. And all this stuff we've been talking about and who we can be all offseason kind of hit us in the face right there. And, some plays at the end of the game that, we didn't make and Buffalo beat us on, and credit to them. Going to Florida State the next week, another, playoff caliber team that's super deep and got our butts kicked again. But, learning lessons throughout the first four is, one, we belong, right? We're very capable of being an exceptional football team this year. Two, we better have our ducks in a row when we go into these power places. And, if our expectation is to win and compete at a high level, we got to be better as a unit for ourselves, for each other.
Looking at these games against Tech and Florida State and now Oklahoma, Coach, what are you looking to get out of it? Like, what are you expecting to see from your team? You're, from a talent standpoint, you're overmatched, but what are you hoping to see from your players in those games?
Yeah, no flinch, right? Again, these are opportunities to go in and compete against the best of the very best in college football. And, if our expectation isn't to go in and win as coaches, right, it starts with us. We're doing ourselves a disservice. We're doing these kids a disservice. We're gonna game plan our tails off and give our guys every possible chance to be successful. Sure, there's probably some size, speed, cellular, genetic advantages or disadvantages, depending on your perspective. But our job is to compete, man, and that's life. That's something that's going to carry over, with you the rest of your life. I'm one of 136 of these in the country. Every day I get to do this job is a blessing. Every opportunity we get to play college football is a blessing, man. That was my goal in life, was to be a college football player. And, to try to exude an attitude of gratitude and a growth mentality, is important for our staff. And, results, whatever, be about the process, right? Be about getting better. And, as even as we face the these powers in college football is opportunity, man. Put your best foot forward, compete.
Tell us a little bit about your roster. What guys have you been excited about? Who's shown up and performed well?
Yeah.
And, who are some of the guys you're going to be leaning on the road forward?
Yeah, I think, coming in, we're very much unsettled at quarterback. We added a guy in the transfer portal. We had a guy who was, who had been through some injuries here, who we thought could be a really good player. We had a guy who we recruited, from a local area high school here that had a great, two last years of his career and was recruited at a high level. So we needed competition, and we knew at that position, we had to be better, right? So it started there, and I think Drew DeShields has done an awesome job in settling into his role as our starting quarterback. Very much unproven going into this year. Hadn't practiced a whole lot as a college football player, but has jumped at it and gotten better with every opportunity he's gotten. We had to rebuild our offensive and defensive line. I think as we're going through the season, we're finding out who we really are, in the trenches. At the second level on defense, our linebacker core is really good. I think Mason Woods, number 0, Nyland Brown, number 8, Syed Abrahamda, 15, CJ Young, 3, Cannon Williams, 10, Samaj Cross, number 2. We've played a good amount of people bodies in those spots, and from a production standpoint, haven't been much drop off. Haven't seen much drop off. Still very much a work in progress, but excited about the direction and very encouraged by our leadership across the board.
I know that you're having to handle all the head coaching duties, but you're still the OC. What have you thought about the way that you guys have played offensively? You mentioned what Shields has done in the passing game, but what do you feel? Where do you feel that you guys can improve with what you've put on tape in the first 4?
Yeah, I think first of all, I am not the OC. Oklahoma native Clay Patterson is calling plays for us this fall.
Nice.
It was, you think you could do it, and you talk to a lot of people throughout the course of the offseason. How do you balance being a play caller and head coach? And, I came to the conclusion that it's probably a little bit too much for me, in my first opportunity to do this. So trust Clay Patterson. He and I share a vision about what our offense should look like. We haven't achieved the success that we've wanted just yet, but we're getting better with each opportunity, and improvements along the line of scrimmage are going to help. As we get guys healthy, back from couple nagging injuries, I think we'll be better. But it starts with our quarterback, right? And Drew settling into his role, what all he can handle from a game plan perspective, being a full-time starter. We're still, learning quite a bit about that.
How about on defense? It could be hard whenever, you face the type of opponents you have. I mean, some super high-powered offenses. How is
you guys aren't going to make it any easier? You know what I mean?
Well, hey, at least Mateer's out for you guys.
Right,
I mean, that's
that guy's good, man. That guy's special.
Yep. And,
I think defensively, we had our own challenges this offseason, right? Our defensive coordinator decided to take another opportunity in the beginning parts of July and promoted Coach Cherokee Valeria to the defensive coordinator spot. He's been awesome. The way he's allowed us to be multiple from a presentation standpoint, and challenged our guys to grow in the way we fit, run schemes and play different coverages. And, that was important to me in what was coming next. And we're just scratching the surface, I believe, in how good we can be on defense.
How do you divide your time? Because you're an offensive guy.
Yeah.
So typically, that's where you're going to spend most of your time. But are you bouncing around position group, during meetings, like out of the practice field? Like, how have you handled that piece of being the head coach?
Yeah, it was that was probably the biggest learning lesson, right? Is when the initial change happened in April, I was still very much the OC and very much the quarterbacks, having to come up with an indie plan every practice. And
that's what I thought. That's what I read. That's why I said, hey, you're the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I wisened up. No, I leaned on some really good friends in the profession and got some really good advice from guys who have been in a similar situation. And I think the older you get, the more mature you get, you understand what's truly important. And, I think as the head coach and what this program needed, I'm a ball guy. I'm not just an offense guy. I'm a ball guy. And, I'd like to think I can shed some sort of, light on scheme on any side of the ball. I certainly couldn't coach O-line or tell you how to block the struck from the first or second level on defense. I know, the principles of defensive football, the principles of offensive football, and I know what great effort, intentionality, and energy looks like, and that's been my focus.
Well, how do you like it? Is this?
I love it, man. I love it.
Is it been fun, or are you saying, "Oh man, I want to be a coordinator again"?
Depends on what day you ask me.
Coordinators don't have to wear suits, Coach.
That's right. That's right. No, it's been fun. It's been it's been a breath of fresh air, man. I'm a relationship dude. I think that's the best part about college football is building and developing different relationships, whether that's in recruiting or amongst your position group or your side of ball. Now my pool's just that much bigger. Now the lives I get to impact are just that much more many. It's been fun, man. This is, everybody talks about the pressures of college football. This is like a dream come true to me. This is I'm having as much fun as I can have doing this job in the time I get to do it as anyone. So every day's a blessing.
Well, that's awesome. Now, clearly want to talk to you about the matchup with Oklahoma. Just looking forward to it. You ever been to Norman?
Never.
Oh,
no,
first
I'm
trip.
Excited. This is. I was telling somebody. I grew up. I was born in 1980, right? I grew up. My middle school years were like the Charlie Ward era of college football, and Florida State was one of those places. It was like, holy cow, I'm gonna get to run out of the tunnel at Florida State, and Oklahoma's like better than that, right? Like you look at the history of college football and the winningest programs and traditions, and I was just at an event with our university president, and he's telling me about his father was a student at Oklahoma when Bud Wilkinson rattled off 3 straight, right? And the history and traditions of watching Teddy and Baker Mayfield and guys run around and make plays on that football field is incredible. And I know the transition of the SEC and all that is just another step in a huge momentum swing of what Oklahoma football is. And their leader Brent Venables right now, he and I have coached against each other before. He presents a unique set of challenges.
What have you seen on film? Just to highlight a couple of things, maybe offensively and defensively, what stood out to you?
Yeah, I think first to start with the defense and Coach Venables, his impact on defenses throughout his career has been incredible. No different in what he's doing now as the play caller again at Oklahoma. He's got a unique way of putting his guys in position to be successful on every single snap, right? And a little bit different than your normal mode of operation. He was the first guy I've ever seen use a personal get back coach, so I'm kind of striving for that in my coaching journey. No, I'm just kidding, but the way he calls defenses and the way he sees defenses and his principles of attack are very unique. Our challenge is going to be to change the way he sees those pitchers, right, and views those things. And everybody's kind of got a different mentality when competing against him or coaching against him, and we're going to put our own unique spin on that next Saturday, and try to present him with as many challenges as we possibly can. I know he'll have his guys ready and flying around and playing with great energy and enthusiasm. And, offensively, the quarterback is a freaking stud. Watching him and what he brings to, the excitement that Oklahoma fans have come to, experience with all the different exciting players that have been through there. But certainly a great tradition through the Lincoln Riley era and getting Coach Arbuckle, who he and I crossed over during his time in Western Kentucky, and what he's done at the quarterback position and the way he sees the offensive game of football is, it challenges you in his own right. And, great football staff, great football tradition. Again, what an opportunity.
Mateer being out with the hand injury, you're going to get Michael Hawkins Jr. at quarterback for the Sooners. What's the prep process there? Is it, hey, we got to study Arbuckle's system and what they've been doing, and then we got to go back to last year and watch his stuff? Like, do you have to just gather all the information you can on the guy you're going to be facing?
Yeah, I think a little bit, right? Michael got a chance to start, I think, 4 games a year ago, played in 7, right? So you're certainly going to go back and watch him operate and how he does things. But this is a different system, right? And I think the hallmark of any great coach is, the way they utilize their scheme to put their personnel in the best position to be successful, right? And I know Coach Arbuckle is going to do that on offense. No matter who the signal caller is behind the center. Certainly got to be rooted in what you believe in as a coach, but ultimately it's putting your player makers in the best position to have success.
Yeah, there's some good skill talent that's surrounding the quarterback as well. What have you seen from the group of skill position players Oklahoma's thrown out there?
Yeah, it can beat you in a lot of different ways, right? People talk about offensive balance, right? And, is that 50-50 run pass? Is it, spread versus under center? I think offensive balance, truly is when you can throw 5 skill guys out there and you're not sure where the ball's going to go, right? That makes you more nervous as a defensive play caller, I would assume, than anything, right? Is, not only can the ball go to field number 1, but it can go to the middle slot, right? You can release a tight end. Obviously, the run game is what it is, and led by a physical offensive line. But this they're going to spread the ball all over the place. And whenever you have 5 skill guys that can beat you, like that's pretty scary.
Well, Coach, we know you're busy with all the duties that a head coach has at college football now. We appreciate you taking the time, man. And we're excited to see you in Norman.
Absolutely. Please come and introduce yourself.
We are both. I'm on the sideline during the entire game and pregame. I'll find you. And then Ted comes down onto the field before he goes up to the booth. We both do the radio call for OU. So we'll find you. Don't worry. We won't
need
be
to trade
strangers.
Numbers because now that I grew my beard out, if you ever need a week off, maybe I can stand in for you without people noticing.
I was going to say you're a good-looking dude, Dave.
There's something about it. I can't quite put my finger on it. Coach, we appreciate it, man.
I love it. Appreciate the time, guys. Thanks for having me.
For all of us Sooners, there comes a time when we need help. We need someone to fight for us, and that Sooner is Jeff Marr at the Marr Law Firm. If you are battling cancer or any other life-threatening condition and your insurance carrier is either slow playing or outright denying your treatment, use the law to get the medical care you need. Marr Law Firm believes you shouldn't have to fight your insurance company while also fighting for your life. Go to see Jeff Marr at the Marr Law Firm. They turn victims of insurance bad faith into champions. And 3 things matter in banking: service, service, and service. And First Fidelity Bank's commitment to exceptional service is more than a promise. It's their foundation. FFB has been by your side for over a century, and they are honored to be a part of your journey. Banking isn't about where you've been, it's about where you are headed. Open an account at an award-winning bank today at ffb.com. At First Fidelity Bank, we go where you go.
Bishop McGuinness Catholic High School represents a tradition of educational excellence in Oklahoma City. Grounded in a faith-based education, Bishop McGuinness offers a college prep curriculum that includes 26 AP courses, participation in OSSAA athletics, and numerous clubs and organizations for students to join and grow. If you want to provide the best possible educational and spiritual development for your children, contact Bishop McGuinness Catholic High School or visit bmchs.org. Financial aid is available.
And go to opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED for 10% off our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED. Buttery soft and 10% off. All right, time to preview the best games of week 6 of college football. And let's start at the Swamp. Number 9, Texas travels to take on Florida. This will be 2:30 on ESPN. Currently, Texas is a 6.5-point favorite. And I think it's safe to say with the Gators at 1-3, this game certainly doesn't have the feel that a lot of people thought it was going to have.
No, the feel has definitely changed, but it's incredibly interesting for totally different reasons, right? It's
No doubt.
Texas has, after the Ohio State game, they've just kind of not looked great. Offensively, they've struggled in some areas, just hasn't looked like you would expect it to look. Now, I do think that with how much emphasis was put on the Ohio State game and how long they've had in between that feels like it was last year. It's so long ago. So part of me wonders, is some of that with Texas just a little bit of lack of interest? And now that they're getting into the SEC and it's going to crank way up, I don't know. It better, because I know what Florida's record is, but if Lagway can at least somewhat return to how he was playing at the end of last season, limit turnovers, I think their defense can keep them in the football game. It's just whether or not they can create anything on the offensive side.
There were multiple reports last week that Lagway was in a boot. And the Florida defense has been very solid, especially when you consider how many bad spots that offense has put them in. But they're also a little banged up on defense. So I expect Texas to be able to find some things offensively. And I believe they're expecting Quintravion Wisner to be back for this game in the backfield. He hasn't played since that Ohio State game. It'll be interesting to see how he looks if he does play and how he impacts the game. But it really is just a battle of the underachieving quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Arch has been better than DJ Lagway. So maybe it's not fair to frame it that way, but these are two guys that had incredibly high expectations coming into the season, and there's just no other way to say it. They have fallen very short of those expectations. Now, hey, Arch did light it up against Sam Houston a couple weeks ago. But do you think Texas's offense is going to find a bunch of success against Florida's defense, who has been very solid?
No. I think it's going to be a low-scoring football game. I think Texas's defense is legit. They're very good. And it would be a shock if Florida all of a sudden started clicking on offense. I think for them, they got to get their run game going. That was one of the biggest weapons that was talked about with Florida. Good in the backfield, their offensive line. If they want to win this game, I think they're going to have to win some battles in the run game. And then I think it's going to have to come on chunk plays. If Lagway is healthy and ready to go, he's going to have to get out, create, run around, scramble, create some chaos to find some big chunk plays against Texas's defense, who's very solid on all three levels. But I think it's got to start in the run game for Florida.
The interesting thing about Florida's run game, it's an outside zone run game. And when you look at Texas's defensive line and how stout they are at defensive tackle, I think the outside zone run game is the best way to attack Texas's defense. Now, they've got good edge players too, and they got some backers that can really run, man. But if Florida can find a little success with the outside zone stuff, then maybe this thing can get a little interesting, but dude, Florida's offense just looks so overmatched against Miami's defense. And I think Texas is right there when it comes to the argument for best defense in the country with Oklahoma, with Miami. And I understand there's some excitement for Florida because they're supposed to get Dallas Wilson back, who's kind of the talk of the offseason for them at wide receiver. But I don't trust DJ Lagway to play well enough to make this a game. I just don't, man. So I'm going to lay the points with Texas. Texas's program is just superior to Florida's right now, and that's kind of how I see this game. I go, hey, one program is in a great place, and the other is about to hire a new coach here in the next couple months. So I know that the Longhorns offense hasn't found a great rhythm, but that defense is really good, really good. And I don't see Florida finding it offensively all of a sudden against this Texas defense. And I won't lie, like I want Texas to win this game so that the Red River Shootout feels really big.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna lay the 6.5 with the Longhorns.
Yeah, I think that's probably the smart play. This doesn't this kind of feel like it's the last stand with Florida and maybe even Napier. You're seeing
Yeah.
a bunch of schools start to axe their coaches to get into the sweepstakes for who's going to get hired and where. Um, I I think that coming off a bye and hopefully getting some guys healthy and hopefully getting Lagway some more seat time and practice time, that you see Florida's best effort being at home and who they have coming in with Texas. So, like, this needs to be their best performance. I think Texas finds a way to win it, but I think it's going to be really low scoring. And I think Florida's going to cover the 6.5. And there's a chance if they get rolling that they can pull it off. But I'm going to take the 6.5 right now. But I'm with you. I think if Texas wins, obviously it makes the OU Texas game even. I mean, it's going to be huge no matter what. But I feel good with where we are. I want the stakes really high in that one. And with Florida, you feel like if they lose this game, that may be it for Napier. And I don't mind that if that happens because, throw some distraction to Ole Miss. Let Lane Kiffin have to answer a bunch of questions nonstop and let people start to talk about it. My ask of OU Twitter is, if that's the case, big disinformation campaign. Throw all kinds of rumors and stuff at Ole Miss fans before we finally match up with them.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah. I just looked at it. Total for this game,
Like
41 and a half.
Yeah, low.
Low.
Yeah, I
Wow.
think I would pick the under on that. And in a game that you think is going to be low scoring and you can get 6.5, I'll take it in this one.
Fair. All right, moving on to the next game. This is the game I'm most excited about this weekend. Number 16 Vanderbilt travels to Tuscaloosa to take on number 10 Alabama. This will be 2:30 on ABC. Bama is currently a 10.5 point favorite. Alabama coming off the massive win at Georgia, where, let's be real, hey, they looked like Bama. Vandy coming in with the most confidence maybe in the history of the program. Like, this is going to be fun.
I can't wait for it. And it's the perfect mix of Alabama coming off a big emotional win. Vanderbilt's not going to sneak up on them though, after what happened a year ago and how good they've looked. But Vanderbilt's more than just Pavia. Like, he's great, and he's what drives that football team. I mean, what he brings on the offensive side, and kind of the chaos that he plays with, the gunslinger. Like, he ain't going to be scared. He's going to go in there ready to roll. And but you can't sleep on the rest of this Vanderbilt football team. I think their defense has played really well, really solid. I think it's going to be a close game. I really do. It's a 10.5-point spread. In my opinion, that's too much. Give me Vandy and the points.
I'm with you. And no, there's a couple reasons, but one main reason. Diego Pavia believes in his soul that they're going to go and win this game. I haven't heard him say that, but I know that's what he thinks. And his belief in himself and his team, like, makes me believe in Vanderbilt. Now, there's also Vandy's offense is legit. They've been lighting up the scoreboard, and a lot of the issues that Alabama had in the opener against Florida State with that rushing attack, Vandy does very similar things from a scheme perspective, and they're really difficult to defend, dude.
Yep.
So, and I know they just beat Georgia, but I haven't forgot what I watched in that opener against Florida State. Vandy's got solid backs. They've got Diego Pavia and what he can do with his legs. I think Vandy's as fit as they've ever been to match up at the line of scrimmage as well. I'm taking the 10.5 with Vandy because I think if Vandy can find something in a run game, they can really reduce the number of possessions in this game, really shorten this thing, and build some tension there for the crowd in Tuscaloosa. Like, if you look up and this thing is 10-7 or 7-3 at halftime, and Bama's had the ball 3 times, things are going to start getting a little uncomfortable there in Tuscaloosa. And like that's how Vandy has to go win this. I don't think they can go and have it be a high-scoring affair like it was a year ago. I think they need to take it the opposite way. Like, let's make this a slow, low-scoring, uncomfortable game for the Tide.
That's how it was last year. They were playing keep away, and I think that's a good path to victory for them. And the ghost of disasters past, Johnny Manziel's going to be over on Vandy's sideline wearing a Pavia jersey, so that's just going to bring an extra little element to it. Whatever you say about the football game, it's two really good teams going at it, but the entertainment factor that Pavia brings and just kind of the buzz around him, it's going to make this can't miss football.
He's one of the most entertaining players to watch, not only in college, but like all of football.
Yep.
I love watching the guy. And there's been a lot of discussions about Bama's motivation because of what happened a year ago, but I'm more concerned with them just having to reset, wipe the slate clean, and recover from that game against Georgia.
Yeah.
It was a physical game, man. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's tough to bounce back from a game of that magnitude.
And, they put a lot of emphasis on that one. Not that they're sleeping on Vandy, but being pissed off about last year, all that does is get you amped up running out of the tunnel. You have to play responsibility football against Vanderbilt. So I think if Alabama's super amped coming into this one, it can almost work against you with how Pavia operates. So can't wait. This is a big one. I know it's going to be difficult in the second half of the Kent State game not to have one eye on the television, see what's going on in some of these other games.
I don't know what you're talking about. We'll be laser focused on calling the game. I do love the quarterbacks in this game. I think Pavia is arguably, right there with Mateer when it comes to just the most entertaining player in college football. You probably put Lenora Sellers like on his best day as well Like the most entertaining quarterbacks in the
You never
sport.
know what you're going to get on every snap.
It's just fun, man. And then Ty Simpson has quickly become one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch in the passing game. The dude can sling it. Like their play action concepts, I'm a big fan. But Vandy, if they want a chance in this game, they have to limit the explosive plays in the passing game for Alabama. They can't let Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams rip off 40, 50s, 60s. That just can't happen. And if I'm Clark Lee and that staff, I'm thinking long and hard about just playing some deep zone coverage in between the 25s, man. Keeping everything in front of me. Hey, make them execute snap after snap after snap. And if it turns into a game of red zone roulette, then so be it. But you cannot give up explosives if you're Vandy's defense in this game. You just can't do it. That is how this thing gets out of hand. Is they give up 40-yard plays, 50-yard plays, 35-yard plays to those wide receivers for the Tide. Like you have to eliminate that if you're Vandy and you want to have a chance in this game.
Isn't it crazy how the roles have kind of flipped? Like Vandy, you think they need to line up, run it, possess the football, and in my opinion, Alabama needs to spread Vanderbilt out and throw it around the yard. Just kind of fascinating. You wouldn't have expected that 2, 3, 4 years ago that would be the game plan role reversal in this football game.
College football is weird like that.
It's crazy.
All right, let's move on to our last game. Number 3, Miami heads to Tallahassee to take on number 18, Florida State. This will be 6:30 on ABC. And this line smells fishy.
Yeah.
Miami currently a 4.5-point favorite. Ted, this is a massive game in the ACC that has lost a little of its sizzle with Florida State's loss to Virginia last week, but still a big one. And while Florida State was losing to Virginia, Miami was at home resting with the bye week. I was pretty surprised when I saw what this line looked like. And maybe I shouldn't be because I know how difficult it is to play at Doak Campbell. It's a really tough place to play. I've done it. Not easy. Loudest stadium I ever played in. But I just don't think Florida State can hang with Miami at the line of scrimmage. I think this is going to be a relatively one-sided game. The only way Miami doesn't walk out of there with a double-digit victory, in my mind, is if Carson Beck just turns it over. Which
he's done.
Isn't the craziest thing to think may happen, but I just think Miami's had extra time to prepare. Cristobal's going to have those guys focused. I love Miami at 4.5. Like, yeah, I'll lay the 4.5 with the team that I think is much more talented at pretty much every position on the field.
Yeah. And it's really interesting to me with Miami. Player-wise, they have some of the best talent at different spots in all of college football. I mean, Bain is incredible. I love watching that dude play.
They are not going to be able to block that guy.
I don't know that you can in college football. He's different. I think Florida State wins the game.
My eyebrows almost just got singed off.
I know.
That's the hottest take I've heard in quite some time.
It's red hot, and I don't have a whole lot to back it up. I think Miami to me is a team that goes out and out athletes you. And that could be a problem against a team like Florida State. I mean, give Castellanos his due. He's made some incredible plays, scrambling around, creating, making stuff happen. I think that's the key to beating a team like Miami. If you're on schedule and they can cover for, 2, 3, 4 seconds, the traditional route concepts and the ball's coming out, that's where they're best. If you break it down and get outside, extend plays, I think they're going to find several explosive plays against Miami. Now, Bain may ruin all of that by chasing him down, but I think I think there was a little bit of maybe Florida State getting ahead of themselves with the Alabama win, putting it on cruise control. I think the loss to Virginia may have actually done something good for that football team. And maybe all of this is just the dumbest pick and Miami goes out. I still have a very hard time trusting Miami. Okay. For the longest time, I've been pounded with Miami's going to be really good this year. It's happening. This is the year. And it looks like this is finally it, but I don't know. I still have a low level of trust. And I think Florida State being at home is actually a really big factor in this. I mean, Miami, they haven't had to play in any type of atmosphere like this at all. We haven't seen what they're going to be like in a hostile environment. So, dumb pick of the week. Give me Florida State and the points.
Losing to Virginia and then turning around and beating Miami would be so college football.
Oh yeah.
But
when the opportunity presents yourself, sometimes you just have to roll with the chaos theory.
I just don't see it happening. I don't think Florida State's going to be able to run the ball at all against Miami. I've been underwhelmed by their offensive line, and I think Miami's defensive line has an argument as the best unit in the country. Making a Florida State offense have to throw with Tommy Castellanos back there, I don't think it's a recipe for success. I guess if he can just throw some up to Deuce Robinson and that guy can go make plays and produce some explosive that way, then okay, maybe that makes things a little more interesting. But I like Miami a lot. I don't know if Florida State can shut down Mark Fletcher and make Carson Beck playing a bunch of second and long and third and long situations. So everything points to Miami in this game, which is probably why you're picking Florida State.
Pretty much. That's pretty much all I have.
Florida State's got some guys at the skill spots that can produce explosives, not really in the backfield, but you got Deuce Robinson. Dancy can absolutely fly. Squirrel White can make plays if he's still alive, if he survived the stampede there in Charlottesville.
Has anyone done a wellness check yet? Have we got an update on that?
I have not heard anything, which makes me think Squirrel's just fine. He's not Virginia, like one of those squirrels you see in the neighborhood smushed on the pavement.
For the rest of the year, they need to do a chalk outline over there in the end zone where he was laying when they rushed the field. My overall theory right now in college football is everyone is way closer. Like, we still view college football through kind of the old prism where you got a large separation in like kind of the tiers. You got the teams that are head and shoulders above the rest. I just don't think that's the case, at least up to this point through the season. I think teams, with all the changes we see every year, I think teams hit their stride way later in the year when everything starts to click. And at this point, I still think that we're at the point where everyone is somewhat level. But that being said, if Miami can go in and get this win against Florida State and play a good, sharp football game and look like they are well-organized, disciplined, they'll make a believer out of me.
All right. Can't wait to watch it now. Can't believe you said Florida State's going to win.
The onus is on you, Miami.
Fair enough. All right, let's finish up. Let's finish up with our winners and losers of the week. But first, this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code OKBreakdown to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. We all make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. And it's so simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. Prize Picks is also the best way to get action on sports in more than 40 states, and they put their users first. All withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure, and they also offer injury reboots. If one of your players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks won't count it as a loss. Prize Picks is the best way to win cash this football season. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. Join millions of users and sign up today. Download the Prize Picks app and use code OKBreakdown to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code OKBreakdown to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. This fall, Poncho's got you covered with classics like denim and flannels to new styles like the Western polo and tough thread. Comfortable, durable, and versatile for whatever the season brings. Poncho's denim shirt is great. It's my new go-to denim shirt. Going to be a fall fashion staple for me. I love this thing. And Poncho's flannels are the perfect medium weight, and they have a nice stretch to them. You can never have too many great flannels. You guys know how that goes. Poncho listened to their customers, and they have launched the Western Polo. This thing is a versatile shirt. Go get you one. You'll wear it a ton. And Poncho offers free shipping and free returns because they want you in a shirt that you love. Gear up for fall with Poncho. Every piece is built for comfort, performance, and lasting style. Go to ponchooutdoors.com/OKBreakdown and enter your email for $10 off your first order. That's PONCHO outdoors.com/OKBreakdown for $10 off and free shipping. And when they ask you how you heard about them, let them know the Oklahoma Breakdown sent you. It really helps support the show. As always, Ted kicks off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
Nothing says it's Major League Baseball playoff time like early Tuesday afternoon baseball, right? Just tuck it away while everyone's at work. But Major League Baseball's playoffs are underway. I love playoff baseball. I don't know how people grind away 162 games a year watching baseball. Very difficult. Hats off to those folks. But playoff baseball is awesome. And, dude, I don't know how a pitcher can hit 55 home runs and fly under the radar, but it feels like Ohtani has somehow done that this year and hits 2 massive bombs, 450-plus foot home run last night. Dodgers jump all over the Reds. That was cool to watch. Playoff baseball is awesome, and we're here, so that's my winner of the week is finally, after the long stretch, the dog days of summer where you kind of forgot they were even playing, it's here.
If you're going, wait, they're talking about baseball? Yeah, this is the only time we talk about baseball because the only time we watch baseball is during the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I watched roughly 6 hours of playoff baseball yesterday, and I'm going to do the same thing today because we've got games at noon, 2, 5, and 8. All day, baby.
All day. Yeah, I'm with you. In one day of playoff baseball, have tripled my allotment of baseball viewing so far this season.
I like the wild card series. Like a 3-game series, that first game, like it just creates so much pressure and tension for that second game. I'm a fan of it. Did you watch any of the Cubs game?
A little bit, yeah.
Back-to-back jacks end up being the difference, but the Cubs beat the Padres 3-1. It is the Cubs' first postseason win since 2017.
Woo. Yeah,
that had to feel good.
It's been a long rebuild for the Cubs. Yeah, I'm fascinated by it. Somehow I've arrived at the Seattle Mariners playing the Phillies in the World Series.
Interesting.
And since nobody cares about my baseball picks, I don't even care. I'm taking the Seattle Mariners win the whole thing.
Okay, you heard it here first, people. Mariners winning it all. Not
they're going to ride the big dumper all the way to the end.
There you go. I've got a feeling a lot of people will be tuned into Red Sox Yankees.
Yeah. How
today.
about that last night? That was pretty fun.
Yeah, Red Sox got them in game one, so a lot of pressure on the Yankees in game two. Uh, it seems like they came in, from what I understand, for kind of just from what I read, like they came in hot and just now backs against the wall. Let's see what the Yankees got. And then the only other thing I have is I watched pretty much all of Tigers Guardians. Scooble is so good.
Yeah.
That dude can absolutely deal, man. He's I'm not a low scoring baseball type of guy, but I enjoy watching that guy pitch. He is fantastic.
Yeah, in the playoffs, it's fine. Whenever you can kind of hang on every pitch a little bit,
Great
it
way to
totally
put it.
changes the dynamic. Yeah, the Tigers came in off a rip, right? The really got hot in the back quarter of the season and playing really well. I mean, they're all going to be fun series, especially for someone like me that really doesn't know a whole hell of a lot about it. You
And
know,
that is football guys talking baseball.
that's right.
Who do you have as your loser of the week?
Ryder Cup. It was a disaster, and then it was awesome, and then it was a letdown. I mean, they played themselves right into a chance to do something special on the final day, but just couldn't get there in the end. Give it up to Europe. Congratulations, guys. Whatever, but it at least got fun for a while on Sunday.
It got very fun.
Yeah.
And I am very mad at Victor Hovland. Dude, that
Yeah.
is the dumbest rule in sports. If you get hurt, you shouldn't get rewarded for getting hurt. It's golf.
Y- and I understand, well, that's always been the rule. It doesn't matter. As soon as you identify something bad that's happened for a long time, you still change it, right? There's
How do you
no
think they'll
way.
change it? It's
I
gonna
don't.
get changed, right? I mean, Keegan Bradley said it. He's like, hey, that needs to be changed. That rule needs to be changed before the next Ryder Cup. And I think everyone agrees. It's stupid. You
It's
shouldn't get
stupid.
half a point for being hurt. It's
And
ridiculous.
same thing if the American team is in the same situation. And I know you go back and it's happened a handful of times, and this is how it's always been handled. But uh, we want to see golf, right? We want to see people go out and earn it. And even if the American team was in the same situation, um, I want to see teams go out there and have to earn it. I don't think it was uh, malicious by trying to use the rule to their advantage. I don't think that was the case, but it still needs to be changed. I mean, get an alternate out there or something, right?
I've got two ideas. I'm
Okay.
running both by you. Which, by the way, Victor Hovland, if you say you're a metalcore guy and then you miss for a sore neck, come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on. Got to. If you're about that life, you go out there and you shoot it up like every other guy does in all the other sports and go play, buddy. Okay.
Push through, hit some knockdown
Can,
iron.
can
Whatever
you
you got to do.
imagine? Can you imagine a hockey guy hearing Victor Hovland? Oh, my neck's sore, so I can't play Sunday at the Ryder Cup. Do you know what those dudes play through in the playoffs?
Right.
Like their
No,
hamstrings are ripped off the bone, and they're like, "Oh, I'm good. I'm playing." Lower body injury on the injury report.
just play like 60 minutes of smash mouth hockey, get bruised and battered, and go out there 2 days later and sell out again. Yeah, come on, let's toughen up.
Come on, man. My two ideas. Number one, the captains have to take their spot.
Ooh, I do like that.
Yeah. That way it makes it you have to choose your captain very wisely. You got to make sure they can still play a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my first idea. If someone has to withdraw, that team's captain has to take their spot and has to go out and play.
Okay, I like that one. I sign me up for that. Check mark on the first one. I like it. I'm okay if they implement that rule change.
We may have had one of our guys fake an injury so Keegan Bradley could get out there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's funny.
But I would like to see that. That would be it would create some strategy how you pick your captain. Like, would Luke Donald have gone out there and lit it up? I don't know. Maybe. Would have been kind of fun to
Probably.
see.
Yeah. Yeah.
But my other one is a much worse idea, but it's much more fun. You know how in hockey they have the emergency goalie?
Yeah.
Just like that guy that's literally in the stands, and if something goes terribly wrong, they just grab him and he plays goalie for whoever.
Yeah.
That, but for the Ryder Cup.
It's kind of like the Masters, how they have the guy that when they have an odd number, like the local club
Exactly.
pro
Or
comes in and plays.
how about this? New idea. Better than the emergency goalie theory. The club champion of the course you're playing the Ryder Cup at is the guy that goes in if someone gets hurt.
Love it.
No pressure, buddy.
For either but what if you have an American that finds himself playing for the European team?
Then he sabotages the Europeans. What do you mean? Of course.
Home field advantage, right?
That's it. That's it. No, this is the thing. If you know that the club champion is taking over for you, guess what you're going to go do? If you're Victor Hovland, you're going to get a shot in your neck and you're going to go play. That's the point.
Yeah. I got one more idea.
Ooh, I like it.
If you have a guy that has to withdraw because of injury, the other team gets to press whatever matchup they want, and it's worth double.
That's the best idea. Yes. Yes. Yes.
So that other pairing plays for their point and the point of the matchup that's not playing.
I like that a lot. It probably makes more sense than inserting the captain.
Yeah.
Because usually the captains are like, you're going to be at a distance disadvantage if you're the captain. Now, still can't believe we had Keegan as the captain. He's one of our best golfers and he's not playing golf. It's just silly. But yeah, I think did we solve it? Those are a couple of really good ideas, I think.
Yeah. You can do anything is better than what currently happens.
Yes. The last thing I want to say is I was very proud of how those guys battled on Sunday. That was awesome. Now we still lost. I'm not over here celebrating losing. It's not what we do in this country.
Here.
But if I was going to pick one guy for the European team to kind of clinch it with the putt, Shane Lowry is the guy. He was what an absolute heater. What did he play the last 4 and 3 under?
Is that right? Yeah, because he was 3 down at one point, right?
Yeah, and just if it's going to be anybody from that squad that I'm going to have to watch celebrate like that on the green, I want it to be Shane Lowry. And then the videos of him celebrating that night and the next day, like they're great. He seems great. So
not a surprise, right? I think you could have placed that one. That was I thought that was great. It was a lot of fun, man. Sunday, it did not look good early. There was a lot of blue up on that scoreboard early on. It's like, oh well, this is not, and then it just slowly flipped. And then when we came down the stretch and guys, like the course started lighting up, that was awesome. I really wish DeChambeau would have been able to secure that comeback. That would have been amazing. And then the last putt, did he leave that short where he had to?
Oh, did he lag an 8-footer with the Ryder Cup on the line? Yeah, he did.
With Cam Young probably sitting there telling him exactly what the line is, right? That was tough.
He's going to think about that one for a while.
Yeah, just cram that sucker in next time, right in the back of the jar. It was good, though.
Very entertaining. Fix that stupid rule.
Yep.
Victor Hovland. All right, let's get to my winner and loser of the week. For my winner of the week, give me Bobby Petrino. Arkansas fired Sam Pittman after the Hogs got slaughtered. by Notre Dame, 56-13. And somehow, some way, Bobby Petrino is back as the head coach at Arkansas. He's come, Ted, he's come all the way back from the iconic neck brace press conference, and he is the interim head coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks. Remarkable. Remarkable.
And not just interim head coach, he's in the running. He is one of the candidates that's going to be on the list for them. Whatever. I get it. The last time you were consistently good, Bobby Petrino was the head coach. But he also created kind of the whole situation that you've been mired in for the last 15 years. Okay. How they still love the guy, I have no idea. Don't you think it's slimy that before Pittman's even fired, like he's rumored to have been working the phones and calling the influential people that he knows to try and get the interim head coaching job? I mean,
do I think it's slimy? Yes. But he did the exact same thing at Auburn. Like, it's not surprising at all.
I know. And, I made the joke whenever they first fired him as offensive coordinator that he was going to try and sabotage the whole thing to get the head coaching job. And here we are. But, whatever. It's the college football soap opera. You got to love the storylines, man.
Yeah. And he wasted no time firing people.
Axed.
He said, hey, these fans don't like our defense. I'm firing the DC, the co-DC, and the D-line coach. Gone. Did you see who he named as the defense coordinator?
No, I haven't.
Chris Wilson.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of OU fans will remember that name.
Yeah.
Chris was on the staff when I was at OU. Like that,
Yep.
Always really enjoyed being him around. Now he's had quite the journey since then. But that's who's taken over that defense. So I'm going to be rooting for the Arkansas defense, but they don't get the fired coach bounce because they've got a bye this week. We'll see how things go next week when they go to Knoxville.
I am very interested in what that Arkansas locker room is like right now. You have fired one of the most loved coaches out there. People love Pittman. Fantastic guy. And replaced him with, I can't imagine there's a ton of just players on the Arkansas team who love Bobby Petrino. I could be wrong about that, but axing your defensive staff as your first move is like, hey, who are people mad at? The defense. Let's do everything in our power to make sure that all of the focus stays on how horrible we are on defense and not anything with our offense. It's going to get worse for Arkansas, in my opinion, before it gets any better.
Their remaining schedule: Tennessee,
Loss.
Texas A&M,
Nope.
Auburn,
No.
Mississippi State,
No.
LSU,
No.
Texas,
Mm-mm.
Missouri.
No.
Bobby Petrino has a chance to go earn the job. Like if
He's got a dude at quarterback. I mean, I think Taylor Green is excellent.
like he's got a chance to prove that he deserves to be the head coach if they go
Just
out.
don't win one of those, right? Just win one of those that you're not supposed to.
Well, if they win, let's call it 3 of them.
Yeah.
Then people are going to go, you know what? Maybe he's still got it.
True.
I mean, he did win double-digit games back in 2010 and 2011 when I was playing. That's how long ago it was.
He say what you want. Like he does good stuff on offense. He's a good offensive coach. Whether or not he can rally a beat down locker room, we'll see.
Who do you think makes sense at Arkansas?
No idea. I think that Arkansas is in the same position as Oklahoma State is, Virginia Tech, which Virginia Tech just announced, was it yesterday or the day before, that they're adding like $245 million to their athletic budget over the next 4 years. It is less about what is your program history been like and more about what resources are you going to be able to offer me as a head coach whenever I come in to put together a roster that can go compete in this conference. And, with your check coming out a week or two ago and saying that we are not in a position to compete for a championship in football, that's not a good that's not a good recruiting pitch to anyone out there that's looking for the Arkansas job.
You've got Walmart money, Tyson Chicken money, and Jerry Jones money. You need to hire someone that will get those people to say, yes, here's money.
There's been some kind of fallout there with Walmart, and I don't know what it is, but they have, like, they're in a very unique position with where that place is and what the recruiting map looks like for them. But they have access if they can they need to hire like the best sales guy in the country to come in and work those companies that are in that area. There is so much money in their backyard. It's one of the biggest advantages if they can tap into it and make it a weapon for them.
A lot of people are looking at Rhett Lashley, SMU's head coach. He was a quarterback at Arkansas. Lots of rumors that Jerry Jones wants Lashley to be the Hogs' next head coach, which took me to, I think, someone that would be a very interesting candidate. Coach Prime.
Yeah.
If you can give him the resources to pay players, to get the talent, I think it's been proven up to this point that he runs a solid organization. Discipline, tough, like that, those types of things. Like it's not a clown show there in Boulder.
I think he can also build a better staff than he was, because of what you're talking about, than he could have 2 or 3 years ago.
But he needs money. He needs players. And if they want people to talk about Arkansas football, hiring Deion Sanders as your head coach is a very good way to get people to start talking about Arkansas football.
No doubt.
It's just something to think about. And Jerry Jones, I don't know what Jerry Jones and Deion's relationship is like, but it's just connecting some dots there. Just saying.
It's good enough to where his name was coming up for the Cowboys job,
Yeah.
And honestly, that might be their best pick.
Like Tulane's John Summerall, it feels like he's going to wait and see what happens with Florida or Auburn. I don't think Arkansas is the SEC job that he's going to take. So I don't know. I think Rhett Lashley and Deion are two guys that,
like Lashley. Would you leave that job? I mean, that's a totally different job than it was just a handful of years ago. And they've ponied up resources there in a big way to make them create a competitive. So I don't know, man.
You're never going to win a championship at SMU.
No.
You're just not. You're never going to win a championship at SMU. So if that's the goal, and remember he played there, and some guys like the thought of that, and some guys don't like the thought of that.
Yeah.
But you can't build a national championship winning team at SMU. Even though I think it's just not like it's not a fan base that loves football. They love tailgating, the boulevard or whatever it's called. They don't necessarily love going to the games. I don't know if you can build a national championship roster at Arkansas in the current environment, but I think you've got a better chance of doing it if that's what you want. If you want to compete at the highest level, I think you have a better chance of doing it at Arkansas than at SMU, even though you have a much easier path of making the playoff at SMU.
Yeah. I feel like, and I don't know a whole lot about Lashley, but I feel like Arkansas, like there's X's and O's football coaches, and then there's like personalities as head coach that just kind of CEO style, but know how to work the donors and know how to work. I think that's the type of head coach Arkansas needs right now. I mean, they need narrative, they need excitement, they need a guy that can re-engage people more so than they need an X's and O's guy, in my opinion. Like you got to get the talent level somewhat closer to the rest of the conference. And right now is actually a really good time to do it.
They
So
just did it with their basketball program with
yeah,
Calipari. So
yep.
we'll see. But yeah, we've got the Arkansas job is open. In the meantime, Bobby Petrino back in the saddle.
Unbelievable.
Wow. All right, my loser of the week. I'm going Paul Finebaum.
Okay.
I've got no issues with Finebaum. I think the fact that he's built what he's built is remarkable. Like he's the voice of the SEC. He's somehow like the voice of sports in the South. Why would you ever consider leaving that to go run for a United States Senate seat?
No idea.
What are you thinking, Paul? Because that's what he said this week. He's considering going and running for a United States Senate seat in Alabama. Help me, Ted. Why would you leave the gig that you have if you're Paul Finebaum to go get into politics? That sounds terrible. The guy's 70 years old.
Oh, he's finally age eligible for running for office, right?
Hey,
it
good one.
seems to be
Nice.
what it is. I don't know. I mean, I can understand if people feel like they could go and make a change and do something leadership wise for the area they represent, but I got nothing for you. I have no idea why anyone would want to enter that cesspool because from what I've ever seen, what I've learned is there's a lot of grand ideas before people run for office. And then once they're there, recognize pretty quickly that this is a quagmire and nothing's changing.
Interestingly enough, he would be running for Tommy Tuberville's seat because Tuberville is running for governor. So there's just a little football connection there. But he's 70 years old, man. You got a really good thing going. Don't jump into politics. That's not a great idea. That doesn't sound fun at all. And I brought this up because I think this is the most interesting layer to this thing is, okay, let's say he does it. Say he goes and he runs for Senate in Alabama. Who becomes the next Paul Finebaum? That's what I think is the most interesting thing is who assumes that role?
I don't know. Nobody? Somebody? I don't know. It's going to be very difficult. I mean, he's ingrained. He's been doing it since the 80s, right? As a writer,
doing it forever.
Sports writer, then started the radio stuff. I mean, he's kind of ingrained in the culture down there. Like, we can maybe talk about who the next Paul Finebaum is 10 years from now if someone's been doing it that long. You know, I don't know. I don't know if there is anyone in position to step in and fill that void.
Is this why our guy Darinoka has been sharpening his radio hosting skills?
Perhaps.
On your station.
Perhaps.
Preparing.
Maybe so.
Our guy Cole Kubelik stepping in. I wonder who fills in the most on Finebaum.
I have never, not one time. I've heard clips, but I've never heard his show.
The only thing, like maybe the main reason I don't want this to happen is Paul Finebaum and Lane Kiffin together at SEC Media Days is like one of the best pieces of sports content of the entire year, and I'd really miss that if it goes away.
Just oozes awkwardness. It's amazing.
Incredibly awkward, and I love it. But yeah, we'll see if it ends up happening. One last thing on this. I've been listening to Todd McShay's stuff. He's doing a really good job breaking down college football. I love hearing the stuff he has to say about quarterbacks. He called Finebaum an all-time coward on one of his most recent episodes and said that he was going to explain why soon. So that's interesting.
Wow, I didn't know.
All-time coward. That's like another man calls you an all-time coward. You have to fight him. You know, it's like those are the rules of life.
Well, I'm on the edge of my seat with that one. Spill the deets, man. Let's go.
Once McShay talks about it, I'll send it to you.
Love it.
Birthday shout outs. Happy 9th birthday to William Asher Hutchison.
Happy 27th birthday to Jake Small.
Happy 29th birthday to Michael Martins.
And happy birthday to Disneyland and Sooner Judy.
On that note, episode 568 in the books. We'll have a new podcast that'll drop on Sunday. Just a reminder, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, check out our website, okbreakdown.com, for all of our stuff in one spot. We hope you all have a great rest of your week. Have an awesome weekend. Until next time, we appreciate y'all for listening. Do what you always do, Oklahoma. Take care of each other.